That's where Filch had been keeping guard, Ron muttered. They looked at each other. The corridor was deserted. Can't hurt to have a poke around, said Harry, dropping the bag and getting on his hands and knees so that he could crawl along this, searching for clues. Scorch marks, he said. Here and here. Come on, look at this, said Hermione. This is funny. Harry had gone up and crossed the window next to the message on the wall. Hermione was pointing at a topmost pane, where around 20 spiders were scuttled, apparently fighting to get through a small crack. A long silvery thread was dangling like a rope, as though they had all climbed it in their hurry to get outside. Have you ever seen spiders to act like that? Asked Hermione wonderingly. No, said Harry. Have you, Ron? Ron? He looked over his shoulder. Ron was standing well back and seemed to be fighting the impulse to run. What's up? Said Harry. I don't like spiders, said Ron tensely. I never knew that, said Hermione, looking at Ron in surprise. You've used spiders in potions class loads of times. I don't mind them dead, said Ron, who was carefully looking anywhere but at the window. I just don't like the way they move. Hermione giggled. It's not funny, said Ron fiercely. If you must know, when I was 3, Fred turned my teddy bear into a great big spider. My teddy bear into a great big, filthy spider because I broke his toy broomstick. You wouldn't like them either if you'd been holding your bear and suddenly had too many legs and it had too many legs and... He broke off, shuddering. Hermione was obviously still trying not to laugh. Feeling they better get off the subject, Harry said, Remember all the water on the floor? Where did that come from? Someone's mopped it up. It was about here, said Ron, recovering himself to walk a few paces past Filch's chair and pointing. Level with this door. He reached a brass doorknob, but suddenly withdrew his hand as though he'd been burned. What's the matter? Said Harry. Can't go in there, said Ron gruffly. The girls' toilet. That's the girls' toilet. Oh, Ron, there won't be anyone in there, said Hermione, standing up and coming over. That's Moaning Myrtle's place. Come on, let's have a look. And ignoring the large out of order sign, she opened the door. It was the gloomiest, most depressing bathroom Harry had ever set foot in. Under a large cracked and spotted mirror were large chipped sinks. The floor was damp and reflected a dull light grate. The dull light given off by the stubs of a few candles, burning low in their holders. The wooden door of the stalls were flanking and scratched, and one of them was dangling off its hinges. Hermione put her fingers to her lips and set off towards the end of the stall. When she reached it, she said, Hello, Myrtle. How are you? Harry and Ron went to look. Moaning Myrtle was floating above the tank. Floating above the tank of the toilet, picking a spot on her chin. This is the girls' bathroom, she said. Eyeing Ron and Harry suspiciously. They're not girls. No, Hermione agreed. I just wanted to show them how, nice it is in here. She waved vaguely at the dirty old mirror in the damp floor. Ask her if she saw anything, Harry mouthed to Hermione. What are you whispering? Said Myrtle, staring at them. Nothing, said Harry quickly. We wanted to ask. I wish people would stop asking. Stop talking behind my back, said Myrtle in a choked voice with tears. I do have feelings, you know, even if I am dead. Myrtle, no one wants to upset you, said Hermione. Harry only... No one wants to upset me. That's a good one, howled Myrtle. My life was nothing but miserably at this place, and now people come along ruining my death. We wanted to ask you if you'd seen anything funny lately, said Hermione quickly, because a cat was attacked right outside your front door on Halloween. Did you see anyone here that night? Said Harry. I wasn't paying attention, said Myrtle dramatically. Peeves upset me so much I came in here and tried to kill myself. Then, of course, I remembered that I'm already dead, said Ron hairfully. Myrtle gave a tragic sob, rose up into the air, and turned oval over and dived headfirst into the toilet, splashing water all over them and vanishing from sight. Although from the direction of her muffled sobs, she had come to rest somewhere between the U-bend. Harry and Ron stood with their mouths opened, but Hermione shrugged wearily yet and said, Honestly, that was almost cheerful for Myrtle. Come on, let's go. Harry had already closed the door on Myrtle's gurgling sobs when a loud voice made all three of them jump. Ron! Percy Weasley had stopped dead at the head of the stairs, a prefect badge agleam, an expression of complete shock on his face. That's a girl's bathroom, he gasped. What were you? That's a girl's bathroom, he gasped. What were you? Just having a look around, Ron shrugged. Clues, you know. Percy swelled in a manner that reminded Harry forcefully of Mrs. Worsley. Get away from there! Get away from there, Percy said, striding towards them and starting to bustle them along, flapping his arms. Don't you care what this looks like, coming back here while everyone's at dinner? Why shouldn't we be here? Said Ron hotly, stopping short and glaring at Percy. Listen, we never laid a finger on that cat. That's what I told Ginny, said Percy fiercely, but she still seems to think that you're going to be expelled. I've never seen her so upset, crying her eyes out. You might think of her. You might think of her. All the first years are thoroughly overexcited by this business. You don't care about Ginny, said Ron, whose ears were now reddening. You're just worried about I'm going to mess up your chances of being head boy. 5 points from Gryffindor, Percy said tersely, oh God, sorry. Oh no. Yeah, that better be cut out. Fingering his perfect prefect badge, and I hope it teaches you a lesson. No more detective work, or I'll write to Mum. As he strode off, the back of his neck red as Ron's ears. Harry, Ron, and Hermione chose seats as far as possible from Percy in the common room that night. Ron was still in a very bad temper and kept blotting his charms homework. When he reached absently for his wand to remove the smudges, ignited the parchment. Fuming almost as much as his homework, Ron slammed the standard book of spells, grade 2, shut. To Harry's surprise, Hermione followed suit. Who can it be, though? She said in a quiet voice, as though continuing a conversation they had been having. Who'd want to frighten all the squibs and muggle-borns out of Hogwarts? Let's think, said Ron, in mock puzzlement. Who do we know who thinks muggle-borns are scum? He looked at Hermione. Hermione looked back, unconvinced. If you're talking about Malfoy... Of course I am, said Ron. You heard him. You'll be next, mudbloods. Come on. You'll be next, mudbloods. Come on. You've only got to look at his foul rat face and know it's him. Malfoy, the heir of Slytherin? Said Hermione skeptically. Look at his family, said Harry, closing his book too. The whole lot of them have been in Slytherin. He's always boasting about it. They could easily be Slytherin descendants. His father is definitely evil enough. They could have had the key to the Chamber of Secrets for centuries, said Ron, handing it down father to son. Well, said Hermione cautiously, I suppose it's possible. But how do we prove it? Said Harry darkly. There might be a way, said Hermione, slowly dropping her voice still farther, a quick glance across the room at Percy. Of course, it would be difficult and dangerous, very dangerous. We'd be breaking about 50 school rules, I expect. If in a month or so you feel like explaining, you'll let us know, won't you? Said Ron irritably.